time, huh? I could lose my job today. Maybe even be banished from the PRS altogether. But I swore to you, to myself, that I would see this through to the end. I can't just hide from this, from Ono. He's gonna see right through me. Time to face the noise. Bosses know I'll make it through this, no matter what happens. My phone rings, 12:45 p.m., right on time. Cheng, my office in 15, sound good? Actually, Ona, there's something I need to discuss with you. Thankfully, he agrees. It must be against procedure to conduct my fortnightly report at my own apartment, but I've gained his trust over the last couple years. Besides, Ona and I following procedure is the least of our worries at the moment. A short while later, he arrives. That was not a good voice for him. Lao Chong, good to see you. Hi, Ona. Apologies for the sudden request. I know it's a bit unusual. No worries. You've never been the usual kid anyway, Cheng. So, what's going on? Thinking about skirting around the issue, huh? Look, don't think for a second that I'm unaware. You haven't been handling nearly as many cases this past month. Why? I freeze up. Where do I start? What do I even say? I've just been busy advocating stoic thinking for the victim of an unofficial case who also happens to be a conduit. Earth below, I really could lose everything today. My mental preparation goes down the drain. I'm not criticizing your work ethic. You're still handling a good amount of cases on paper. There is nothing to complain about. I'd be slapping any other associate tracer in your place on the back. So give it to me straight, Cheng. What's going on? Thanks. It's regarding Mrs. Duckshi's case, the quicksand lady at Cypress Beach, and another case that I've taken up on an unofficial basis. Unofficial? What? There's not enough official cases out there for you. I bet I could look out your window and find signs of 2 or 3 cases. That's the thing, Ona. I figured it's time we try something new. So I've taken on a case earlier than we normally would to manage it in case it becomes a risk in the future. We need to get to cases quicker. Okay. And the other thing is, I've been kind of experimenting with my approach. So I was wondering, could you... Experimenting, hey? Sure. I'll keep this between us. I'll write my usual spiel about your report. But you've got to tell me what's really going on. I'll keep it off the books, but I've still got to make sure you're not breaking too many rules. Thank the forces. I appreciate it, Ona. Sincerely. Oh, good. Now spill, kid. Okay, are you aware of the torrential chaos rain in East Seneca? Let's see, that's the one around the trade district, isn't it? Yes. I found the victim, a young woman residing in the Twilight Jeweler, a jewelry shop at the apex of the rainstorm. Her mother passed over a year ago. Her grief is causing the rain. Well, alright. I can see why you'd want to get that case early, considering. Yes. He and I both know, out of everyone that was affected in the Traces department, the two of us took Kane's case the hardest. And this approach of yours. Yes, that... You're sure this will be off record? Great forces, Lau. What have you gotten yourself into? Fine, I'll stick to my word. But don't make this a habit. This is the first time you've had any sort of issue. That's the only reason I'm letting this slide, do you hear? Yes, I understand. I sure hope you do. For both of our sakes. I've been attempting to incorporate a more structured philosophical outlook into the way I treat cases, and the kind of thinking I advocate. Okay, and the basis of this outlook is? Stoicism? Go on then, Cheng. You've got a lot of explaining to do, kid. Yes. When I say stoicism, please understand that I don't refer to the nightmarish excuse of a philosophy that predated the GPD. I explain it all. Stoicism being used as a scapegoat, and how its absence, this stigma around emotional vulnerability, has proliferated. The detrimental impact of the lack of guiding philosophy in Sanoa, and how it is resulting in this high record amount of outburst cases. And so the motive with these experiments is to test the waters with the implementation of a guiding philosophy on a small scale. Just with a couple victims, whose cases are relatively contained. Perhaps in the future, if those experiments go well, I could demonstrate my findings to some of the management. I trail off, uncertain of the meaning behind Ona's silence. Alright, so have you gotten any results yet? Not quite yet. I have just been introducing the philosophy, which of course has involved some resistance from both parties. Though with one of the cases I'm confident that it'll see results soon. Please, Twyla, please consider what I've tried to teach you. I know it's foolish to plead like this, but it's out of my hands now, until I return to the Twilight Jeweler. I should have done a better job in teaching her stoic thought. All this wishful thinking will get us nowhere. Look, Lau, I don't agree with you on much of this. Call me conservative if you want, but those of us old enough to remember the outcry following the GPD know well the other side of the coin. So, no, I don't think we need a guiding philosophy in this country. Far from it. Whatever the state attempts to enforce on people, stoicism, materialism, emotional oppression, ultimately it'll all come down to the individual manage their own emotions. There's no way around that. And history has told us that each person has to find out how best to do this in their own way. But I'm not just talking about the Sanoan history, Lau. I'm talking about everywhere in this stars-forsaken planet. People are suffering everywhere. Every flare nation has their own issues. It's just life. Now, not saying you can't educate people, but there's a limit to that. I want to respect his views, but I struggle to find the purpose behind what he's saying. There are of course limits to the effects of a guiding philosophy, but that doesn't mean that we cannot benefit from one at all. What about this record-breaking amount of cases? What could be causing all these outbursts? The only difference between now and pre-GPT Sanoa is the stigma that's risen due to the lack of any kind of institutionalized response to chaos. I know where you're coming from, Cheng, but I don't reckon either of those are the real issue here. Like I've told you, I don't believe in a state-instituted response to chaos in Sanoa, guiding philosophy or otherwise. And as for this stigma, it's more so a symptom of the issue rather than a cause. Trust me, I know how terrible the stigma can get. My wife was at the center of the outburst a long time ago, and the way people reacted, it wasn't pretty to say the least. Since then, it's only gotten worse, but even so, I reckon the real issue is the massive shift we've been seeing across all of society. Times have been changing like flare and nothing we've seen before, kid. You probably know the situation better than I do, Lau. I don't understand half the techno-babble coming out of people's mouths these days. Things are changing. There's a mental health crisis on our hands, and we've got no clue what to do since life is so fundamentally different. Forces, Cheng. Millions of people are spending all day in their homes. Working, sleeping, eating, playing, all in the same building. Sometimes even the same room, all day on repeat. Things like this are gonna come with their own issues. So the younger folk are having a rough time, and we don't understand it fully yet. The older generation aren't nearly as affected, and since they don't understand, they lash out at the younglings. They think they're negligent, lazy, worthless, irresponsible. Trust me, I have a kid with his own issues, and I've caught myself thinking the same thing on many occasions. All this fear and misunderstanding combined with the challenges that all the modern advancements are posing. These are real issues in my eyes. I see. But why is Zenoa specifically suffering then, Ona? These challenges aren't unique to all of us. The GPD, of course. Sure, every them countries, older folk are probably looking at the younger generation and shaking their fists. But in this country, the older generations are on the edge like nowhere else because of the disaster. I told you, everyone over 45 knows. We know what happens if we let ourselves go. We know too blazing well. And because of that, we're scared. I'll admit, I've been too. Why shouldn't we? Don't you see, Ching? I don't flare and understand why these kids are addicted to video games, and why they don't just go out, socialize, and kick a football around instead. So you bet I'm gonna get ticked off at my kid when sitting at his computer all day is almost bringing him to the point of risking chaos. On top of all this, the country's in a period of flux too. The PRS is still in upheaval, even 60 odd years after the disaster. And hell, maybe you're right, Lau. It's possible this stigma is also spreading due to the absence of a state-sanctioned response. But I know that can't be the whole picture. Sure, the whole world's dealing with the challenges of modern life too, but here it's being exacerbated by all these other issues. I didn't anticipate Ona to have such an elaborate response to my stance, but I'm glad he does. It shows he's doing his duty as a tracer, trying to figure out the issue himself, and yet I think you're undervaluing the impact of the established approach towards regulating chaos, Ona. The PRS wouldn't be in a state it is now if we had something akin to an institutionalized response to chaos. Even if it weren't as expansive as a guiding philosophy, like Siesa and its materialism, it comes with its issues, of course, but it's a well-established cultural and societal pattern of behavior that helps its populace manage their emotions. And Ziesa's chaos situation is a lot better off as a result. Zenoa was founded upon Stoicism, and then the state took advantage of it, and the GPD happened. And ever since, we have nothing. There's nothing guiding how Zenoans should manage chaos. And it's just don't feel, or you'll cause trouble. How should you go about doing that? Figure it out yourself. Exactly, figure it out yourself. The onus is on the individual to discover what works best for him. What's so wrong about that, Lau? Sure, someone will struggle with an extra responsibility of keeping their spirit in balance, but others are thanking the stars they can live their own way, as long as they're not putting others in harm's way. Every country's got its issues, Lau, just as we have ours. ZS is doing better in terms of chaos response, but forces know the way they inundate their every sense with pleasure is not sustainable. They've got something coming to them in the next decade or so, trust me. Of course, they're not all like that, but then again, every Zenoan isn't stigmatizing emotional vulnerability. I don't have all day, Ching. It's good to chat about this kind of stuff. But the bottom line is, statecraft isn't either of our jobs. That being said, I'll let you do your experiments, even if I don't personally believe they'll prove worthwhile. Forces know I've been wrong before, and I'm willing to be proven wrong once more. If it means that no one's better off, then so be it. I'll give you a month, but that's it. Forces. Another thing. If I hear you've been doing any more of these experiments, or if you pull anything else extreme, I'm not gonna be able to cover for you like this, alright? It's my neck that's at risk here, not yours. The department damn well needs young and capable tracers like yourself. I doubt they'd even fire you, even with our infamous stoicism is. You'd just get a slap on the wrist and some readjustment training. But myself, on the other hand, they wouldn't look twice before kicking me onto the streets and assigning you a new supervisor. Really? You bet. I'm getting old, Ching. And unlike you, I've got a family to feed. So I'm really risking things by trusting you, understood? Yes. I understand. I'll keep you posted. And I'll stick to this experiment only. Thank you, Anna. I can't promise results, but you have my word that I'll do my best. Alright. Is there anything else you need to report on? You're not hiding anything else, are you? Oh, right. Actually, about that. Ching, I swear to the spirits. Well, out with it then. Right. As it happens, during my initial assessment, we discovered that the young woman was in fact a conduit. Blazing earth, a conduit? Yes. And as her jewelry store was going through a rough patch, she's now enchanting her customers' items with chaos too. Chang, are you flaring serious? How do you expect me to approve? It's been authorized by the Circle though. Everything is above board and certified, and no accidents have occurred, major or minor. The Circle's involved too. How on this earth? He laughs heartily, all of a sudden. And here I thought you slowed down. You've been busier than ever. I remember when I was your age. I could train all day and not feel it in the morning. But I'm surprised you even knew about the Circle. Horses, Lau. You are some kid, eh? I wish I could pretend like I didn't hear about any of this and let you go off on your business. But it's too risky. Just having anyone off the street come into the store and offload all their emotions. How old is this girl? 23. Hell, she's practically a kid still. I can't just let a kid be responsible for managing people's emotions like this, no matter what the Flare and Circle says. This woman, Twyla, she's not just a kid. She's inexperienced, sure, but she's talented at this new craft of hers. How exactly? And why should this matter? Sure, she's talented, but this is a completely new territory. We have no idea what enchanting. She has a thorough understanding of what she's doing, though I'm not sure my words alone will be enough to convince you. Oh no matter what I say, perhaps it's best for you to come to an understanding on this yourself. After grabbing a bite to eat, I sprawl out in the break room for a moment. She's got a donut hanging out of her mouth. Man, I want a donut. So tired. Only now has the fatigue caught up to me. I guess I enjoyed the time with Minovi so much that I didn't realize how much it was wearing me out. I take some notes for the book I started reading recently. Seneca's Letters of a Stoic. Lau recommended a few Stoic books and I thought I'd start with Seneca since, well, it's where I live. It's been nice bringing out my highlighter and marking quotes and going into study mode. Somehow it helps me wind down these days, even though it used to be something I put off back in uni. My phone pinged suddenly. Just as I started reading too. Oh, Odella responded. Twyla, I've been cosmically radiant since our chat. I hope you have been too. Our little Celia loved the bracelet. Afraid she's still struggling a bit with her confidence. But we're working on it together. Same flaring story. Horses, what do I do? I guess I should reply first. I put away my book and think of what to say. No progress at all on her stage fright then? So Celia's stage fright hasn't improved at all? Not yet, babe. I'll let you know if she does though. No luck in Adela's case either. Path below. It's just Jazz, Antonio and Adela so far though. Maybe all my other customers have been successes. Maybe. I return to my notes. It'll be fine. Let's just focus on the task at hand. What's the point? All of this for nothing if you can't really enchant properly. Right now, I need to rest my mind before tonight. What if all of this success is a lie? I picture the thoughts like water swirling around in my mind before slowly disappearing down the drain. What if you're not doing the right thing? You could be putting people in danger. It's no use. I put away my notes again. Sorry, Seneca. I'm gonna worry, even if I'll lose my hair in the process. What else can I do? Draining my thoughts away is useless if I can't close the flaring tap. I am doing the right thing, no? Even if it all ends up terribly, I'm doing all I can to ensure it doesn't, right? My practice has been approved by the Circle. I know my enchantments work too, right? I felt it myself. I swear to the spirits, I felt the confidence in her bracelet. Why didn't it work? Even a little bit. Who knows, honestly? Who Florin knows how any of this works? I don't think even Uncle does. Maybe for some odd reason, it just doesn't work with some people. Maybe the Paos doesn't always admit. My phone buzzes again. Please be something stupid, like a lolly smash notification on my phone dying. It's Maribel. My dearest Twyla, what a pleasure it is to make your acquaintance yet again. This time across the very interwebs themselves. What in the flarin'? I'm afraid my barking mad dog of a husband is frequenting his little pubs and drinking his thoughts away even more as of late. Isn't fate a cruel mistress, my dear? Oh, was that not a rhetorical question? Does your husband seem more skeptical? Maribel, could you please let me know if your husband seems more skeptical? Thanks. Ah, you're here. How good it is to be in your digital presence. Seriously? I look at my phone with bleary eyes. Now's not the time, Maribel. This is starting to feel like one of those over-the-top pranks. Mr. Frivola may or may not be experiencing an increase in skepticism. Though, if I'm honest, my tulip, it is as if he's not here at all. He appears to be little more than a vessel of flesh, nudged along by base desires. It is as if someone has hoisted the white flag in his mind. Forces, no neurons are firing up there. Why is she typing like this? Just Maribel things, I guess. Okay, thanks Maribel. Please let me know if you see any changes. Also, I'm sorry for any harm caused by the enchantment. I hope your husband gets better soon. I've been sleeping better, eating better, meditating, studying. But for what? Struggling towards this lofty goal, giving up entirely. Why have they both led me to the same place? Why do I always end up here? Wherever here is. I could just relax, just follow life's ebbs and flows, just be. Do I need to struggle and suffer and think so much? I can't think through all this alone. Teddy, I need your sage advice. What do you think? Do you think I'm worrying too much about everything? I think so. There are some good reasons for me to worry like this. You're right. It has been several days since I've stressed out like this. I've been too busy to stress, really. Don't have time to think. That reminds me of that Seneca quote. Teddy, who taught you at ancient philosophy? Horses, I'm really losing it. Living is the least important activity of the preoccupied man, said Seneca. I was so preoccupied that I wasn't thinking or worrying or examining. And now that a little bad luck has come my way, I'm stressing. The examined life, huh? I guess Minovi and Lau worry like this all the time. Don't know if that's better or worse. Stars above, just thinking about that girl has me a bit awestruck. She's so different from what I remember, when I only knew her as a guardian angel. Different, but the same. Doesn't this store just attract the most intriguing clientele, Teddy? Aww. She so staunchly refused an unexamined pretend life. I don't think I've been pretending for the past week. But just like her, I do want more. Maybe Lau was right. I may just be more like him and Minovi than I realized. If it's true, if the unexamined life isn't one I really think is worth living deep down, then what do I really want? I wonder if I'd think these thoughts in the past, if the past couple years were a bit more forgiving. It's not exactly the gold of Hermes wand, but it's something, a silver lining. Mum's passing is pushing me to grow one way or another. No matter how much it hurt, no matter how much it's so not worth paying the price of her life. It's true. And with this kind of job, maybe it doesn't have to end with me. Maybe I can help others grow too. It's a nice thought, no? But I need to sort out all of this funny business with the enchantments first. Ignoring that, I am happy with my job. Yeah, I think I am. Not that I want to settle and get complacent, just that the possibilities are endless. So then what? What more is there to want? Where to begin with the examined life? It's all just a mess, a barely organized chaos. All that talk of hope for the future, it's nice, but just so distant. So many ifs that I need to find the hows too. How do I find hope in the present? I don't know either, Teddy. Just the thought makes me feel so weak. I'm supposed to keep at this for how long? With all this worry twisting around in my spirit too. Without Mum. She kept working even through her illness. She fulfilled all her responsibilities and more, rain or shine, night or day. If I could just at least be half the woman she was. You already are, milady. I can almost feel my spirit wilting, thinking of these things. Starry skies, I'm weak. Too weak. I know how it sounds, Teddy, but isn't it true? Shouldn't I accept it? I know it sounds pathetic, but it's true. I crumble so easily. Minovi's words ring in my mind, the words that I didn't let her give in to. I'm so glad you understand, Twyla. I can't help but feel her loneliness, the frustration she had with her parents and Luco. How I seemed to be one of the only people who paid attention to her feelings. My mind shifts to Lau and all he's done for me. But more than anything, I'm grateful for his company. Horses, I haven't felt this close to anyone in a long time. And yet, he still feels so far away. I don't know when, but he'll have to leave my case sooner or later. And there's Jazz and Minovi too. I really cherish these new people I've met. They all feel so special. And it's a miracle I've even managed to encounter them, let alone get to know them so well, so quickly. But it's all so circumstantial, so transactional. I don't know if they feel the same way about me, or if I was just the enchantress to them. Yeah, you're right, Teddy. By the earth, what am I even thinking? Minovi's my new sister out of law. And Jazz, sure she's busy, and maybe I messed up her enchantment, but she came to visit me once. Still, she vented about her parents and uni. I vented about the neighbors. We're friends, there's no doubt. You know though, Teddy, I think that's what I want. They're my friends, but I want to hold them a bit closer. Loud, Jazz, Minovi, I don't want them all to just be visitors in my life. I don't want to have to desperately hold on to their memories together. And be left alone again. My phone pings suddenly again. Yep, it's exactly who I thought it was. Maribel says, I have noticed some changes within my husband, little sapling. Oh? The scoundrel has been skipping breakfast with yours truly. to get sloshed at the pubs of his. Curse my husband and his hysterics. And this whole hedonic hellhole of something about prisons, treadmills, and she's still typing. Yeah, let's just forget it for now and go to bed. Good night, Teddy. I tuck Teddy in and get ready for sleep. Minutes later, in an antagonizingly familiar junction between the hallways of my dreaming mind, a harsh light flickers on. Mom. I remember it now. I had just turned 17, and sitting by Mum, gazing at the stars I could barely make out, a 1 and a 7 glistening in the night sky. Oh, isn't that radiant? I don't know how you spotted that, Twyla. Mum laughs, speaking softly. I immediately know there's something on her mind. The stars have aligned for you, hey? Uh-huh. Maybe you're right, Mum. So, how does my Tua feel on her 17th? How do I feel? Yeah. You know, how they say sweet 16th and spirited 17th? I remember being in a rather introspective mood on my 17th. Well, I was thinking a little earlier about, you know, do I? The future and stuff. I don't know what I want to do. And uni's coming up. And... worried? Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're worried now, Twyla. You're glad? It's reassuring for me. If you're confused and worrying about the future now, it shows you're thinking hard on it. And that you care. Care? Of course I care. I'm the daughter of the Twilight Jeweler after all. Big shoes to fill. Mum laughs. Thank you. But don't think like that, okay? It's your choice to make in the end. Whether I'm a jeweler or a gymnast. You hear me? Yeah, I get it. What? I was just thinking something else. Looking up at the canvas of the night, painted from edge to edge with twinkling drops of light, I felt small. Small, confused, and lost. Sometimes I wish I could just grow up, Mum. Just so I could feel sure of myself. What do you mean by that, Twyla? Like you, Mum, you're so confident and capable. You're good at what you do and you enjoy it. And you're so sure of your place in all of it. I just wish I could be so at ease and not have to worry so much. Twyla, I have plenty to worry about. I worry all the time. Really? You do? About things you haven't done a million times already? And are really good at? I haven't raised a million children, just the one. And I'm still figuring that out. That's true, Mum. But that's the obvious answer, no? Yeah. I thought earlier you seemed a bit worried. But I can't imagine what about. Oh, Tua. I know I can get sentimental sometimes, but really, I don't know who taught my little girl to be so perceptive, so bright, because it certainly wasn't me. She laughs softly. I'm worried about this sickness of mine. If I can't work as much, I don't know what I'll do to support us. Mom, is it that bad? I'm fine, Twyla. It's just, well, being an adult is like that. If you slip up on one small thing, everything can topple over. Even if we seem so relaxed and capable when we're going through the motions. I don't want to worry you, Tua. Let's stop this talk. I'm fine, really. No, tell me, Mum. I'm gonna worry even more if you don't tell me. She let out a sigh. Well, Twyla, because of all of this, there isn't a day that goes by where I don't find myself worrying about the future. A little for me, a little for your uncle and the store, but so much for you. Is it that time already? I force my eyes open and lie idly for a bit. I notice I feel relaxed. And then it all comes back to me. The quiet and collected composure I always saw in Mum. It fell apart in my mind a bit that night. It marked the point where I started taking Mum's sickness seriously. And it started to get more serious. But never did I think. A chill rolls over me. How did I end up here? How, Mum? How could I just leave? I wonder where you are now, if you are anywhere. I wonder if you can think, or see, or feel. Or if it really is true, if all that remains now are just those ashes we've kept in your favorite jewelry box. I get that feeling again suddenly, like if I go downstairs, she'll just be there. What's happening to me? This is the third time I've had a vision like this. Horses, it's flaring cruel how real they feel. As if she was right there in front of me. As if I could have reached out and touched her. I clear my head and try my best to keep it clear. Don't want another eccentric say yes and throwing me off. Maybe that was just Maribel though. Either way, time to get ready. Rain or shine, right? My brain fooling me once with confronting vivid visions of Mum was fine. Maybe even a bit nice. Forget the maybe, it was nice. Nothing more than a fond, warm memory. One that helped me stay strong during Maribel's enchantment. The second time I had mixed feelings. To see Mum so young again still made me feel fuzzy inside. Especially with how she used to cuddle me. This time, I just feel crushed. Mum opened up to me that day. Like the other memories, that image of her sitting beside me under the night sky has lost a bit of its luster. But unlike the other memories, this one has always stuck with me. That sad smile, her usual positive self, but with just a hint of acceptance. You could see it in her eyes, how they smiled sadly at me. Slowly from that night onwards, she stopped calling me to her. Mum knew, didn't she? For all she could worry in the end, she could only do so much. Slowly from that night onwards, I started seeing more of her person. More of Hilla Lanning, and yet never any less of Mum. She did all she could. She did so much, so unbelievably much. But in the end, she could only embrace whatever fate awaited her. In the end, no matter how close I got to seeing more of her, to opening the window to her soul, could only get so far. To this day, I don't feel the value of time as much as I should. And yet, slowly from that night onwards, I should have started to. Because if I had a little more time... I did it again, didn't I? What happened to a clear mind? I shake myself out of my reverie. Horses. Where am I? I feel like I've been in a dream ever since I went to bed. I guess I could clean, refocus, straighten out my thoughts. The story's kind of spotless though. I guess that's how much I've needed to clear my head lately, huh? It's been working though for the past week. Then again, am I really clearing my mind or just occupying it? Am I just a preoccupied woman who is least concerned with living? Would Seneca think I'm basic and Lau and Minovi? Sorry Seneca and friends, but sometimes I'd rather be basic than lose control of my spirit. I know there's something I should do about it all. All this, failed enchantments, customers, the store, Mum's legacy, feeling alone, strange memories, blah blah blah. But not now, Seneca. Now I will polish my clean counter for no purpose whatsoever. Thank you for your understanding. The bell rings, or maybe it won't. You can stop turning in your grave now, Seneca.